Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome to our Sleepy Hollow after show for this Monday, January the 13th, 2014. This is for Sleepy Hollow, episode number 11 for season 1. They are back from their kind of quasi mid-season break, if you will. My name is John Campea. Joining me, as always, first of all, sitting to my right, as always, this is our second episode. First of all, starting here is Miss Ashley Oxford. Ashley, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good, John. How are you?
Good, thank you. And sitting beside her is Ann Campea. Hey, Ann.
What's up, everybody?
And we just finished watching Sleepy Hollow Season 1 episode... Season 1 episode number 11. And we are so glad that you guys have decided to join us today. So let me give you a quick rundown how this is going to work. We're going to talk a little bit about the episode. We're going to say things we thought were good about it, things we thought were bad about it, speculate about where they might be going. And then what we're going to do is just spend the rest of the show just interacting and taking questions from the chat board. And there's already chat boards starting to go, and hopefully that'll continue to grow as the show goes on. So, without any further ado, I'm going to say first up, I like the episode. It did one of the things that Sleepy Hollow does so well. It's been forever since I've seen a show. Even horror shows that I like don't creep me out. They don't feel creepy to me. Even the ones I really like don't creep me out because it's TV. Sleepy Hollow, for a network television program, does a pretty damn good job. By the way, guys, I'm still sick. So you're going to see I'm sucking on halls, and I'm going to be smacking my lips, and I'm going to have to clear my throat a lot. So just bear with me as we go through this. But it's one of those things where it is a show that is creepy. It's legitimately creepy in the way it handles it. Now, saying that, I like the show. I was hoping for more for a return from a mid-season break. I wasn't like jumping out of my seat excited about it. But anyway, Anne, let's start with you. Let's start on the positives. Let's start about the things we liked and enjoyed about this particular episode.
I have to debate you on that. The whole, this is the mid-season, we're back, whatever, because I think the mid-season finale didn't really leave me with any real cliffhangers, so I didn't have that expectation going into this one, okay. Aside from the whole storyline with Macy. I enjoyed this episode, right? Piggybacking on what John said, it was genuinely creepy. Again, I was watching it thinking, oh gosh.
It equated skinny jeans with the coming of the apocalypse.
Okay, that was funny. That whole thing about the wardrobe, because we've often wondered, when are they going to address the wardrobe question?
Finally! I was waiting, and she's like pacing and talking. I'm like, this is a metaphor for clothes. He's going to come out dressed. And then I was mad at first, but I actually really liked that he immediately came back out going, nah, I'm going to wear my clothes. But I like that they addressed that they're not getting cleaned, because it's been bothering me the whole show. I'm like, is someone washing those? Like, they probably don't smell very good. And on the same note with Jenny and
Abby,
thank you. Mm-hmm. With Jenny and Abby, what you liked the character, you got a little bit more background on why she's been a big fat pain in the ass for like 5 years. I really loved at the end of the episode when they had their moment of connection, and because it was so multi-layered for everybody. Like, the family is holding each other after their ordeal, and the sisters never got to do that for each other. They always experienced these things either separate or even in the same room but separately. One is admitting, one isn't, and they've never been able to comfort each other and be there for each other, and it was very powerful. I teared. I did. I'll admit it.
Even Ichabod.
Makeup. He did, but yeah. I felt like Ichabod felt that for them, but you could really feel his loss of family. I really think that what was happening for Ichabod was, and I miss my Katrina, I miss my family. I don't have this. Everyone in this room has it, and I am so out of my own timeline alone. It's got to be a really hollow feeling, and I like that it was so easy to see that in this episode. So
I think one of the things, I already pointed out the creepiness thing, but the biggest positive for me about it is the creepiness thing. I forget the name. I keep wanting to say Astrid or something like that, but that wasn't Astrid. That was the name of the character in Fringe. What was the name of the demon in this one? It was started with A.
And C-Tiff.
And C-Tiff. Okay, Anne's got it written down. She's on the ball. The voice of the demon sounded great. I love the voice. It wasn't too over-processed or whatever. Actually, my one I'm not really big on the voice of Malekith, or what? Not Malekith. Moloch. Malekith is the bad guy, of course, from Thor 2. From Moloch. I'm not really big on his voice, but I really like the way they did the voice. It looked creepy as hell. And I didn't feel like they overdid it and all that kind of stuff. You're right. I like the fact that they're finally starting to fill out the sister's character. What were her past motivations? We always knew that she wasn't. Her past motivations were to be an international.
Lot of stuff, which every episode has felt pretty dense, and that just emphasized it for me.
And Abby's really been consistent with her emotional reactions to things.
Yes,
she's always been like that.
Yeah,
as heavy as something can be, she always kind of internalizes it first, and you don't really know what she's thinking, and she doesn't really show it. And I actually do like that. She's not a very emotional character.
Yeah, and one of the other things I do like about this is that a lot of times TV shows, especially with ongoing, long, continuous stories, they'll bring up things that are important and then just kind of leave them by the wayside as they move on. And Washington's Bible is one of those things that I was starting to wonder about because they made such a big deal out of it the first couple episodes, and they've never really come back or pointed to an importance to it, at least not often. And I like the fact that it became a big deal again. Like, oh yeah, by the way, that Bible that for some reason was buried with you as George Washington, it's an important thing, even though we still don't know why. Now, with that being said, and don't forget, guys, start throwing in topics you want us to talk about, because we'll get to just dealing with stuff in the chat board in a bit. Let's get to the things that I think were weaknesses about this episode. And I will start because it's a great transition talking about Washington's Bible. At the very end of the episode, when we were laughing about this, at the very end of the episode, he paints on the magic salt water, whatever it is, that makes it not only stand out, but glow in the dark with this magic light.
Green, though.
This magic green light. This date, December 18th, 1799, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, wait a minute. This is the big mystery. I recognize that handwriting. That's George Washington. Really? I've seen a lot of people's handwriting. If I come across a note 6 months from now written by Ashley, I'm not going to go, wait a minute. I recognize those 4 words. That's Ashley's handwriting. I'm not going to remember that.
I know mine's pretty distinctive.
I almost thought they were going to bring in that historical guy from Pawn Stars to analyze handwriting.
Well, see what we got here, Rick. We got the J goes to the left. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, so that's fine. I accept that Ichabod recognized it as George Washington's handwriting. Okay. But then they go, oh my gosh, but the real mystery here is George Washington died 4 days before December 18th, 1799. How could he have possibly written this? Well, he wrote, hey, guess what? Give me a pen right
and
now.
I'll show you.
I can write January 8th, 2417. But wait a minute, that's impossible. John Campea died hundreds of years before 2417. Mystery. I mean, why was this such a... Who said George Washington had to write that before the day of... He could have written that any time. He could have written that when he was 17 years old. And I just didn't understand how they made that big logic leap.
No,
oh my God, that date is after he died. What was... Anyway.
It was leading. It was like, we want you to start thinking along this line before the next. It was leading. And the lime green effect was cheesy. All the hard work they did on the demon stuff, I feel like they got to the end of the episode and they were like, oh crap, somebody just... Okay, and use the font from those cheesy, teen bopper scary books. It was terrible. It was bad.
Now, one of the other things that I didn't like about the episode was when they were talking about... where's the name again? Ansitif or whatever. Ansitif. Was there were some pretty badass drawings of him in those old books.
Yeah.
And then when they start talking about the light of this lamp will reveal his true face, I was kind of looking forward to seeing some really cool CGI badass looking demon. And I felt like they kind of chimped out a little bit at the end. There was just a very blurry, fogged out... Ghostbusters don't get sucked in by the ectoplasm. And then it goes down the drain. I think
if you look closely, it's Casper. If you just they
do a little Casper-y. So I kind of felt like they chimped out just a little bit on that. Other than that, pretty solid for me. Ashley, what about you? What were some things that stood to you as weaknesses in the episode?
I wish they would stop killing hot guys. I suspected that Morales might bite it before the end of the season, but I'm now bothered because the fact that they haven't revisited, and no one even threw in there, okay, and we found him and he's okay and he's in ICU or something, indicates to me that he's done. And that whole storyline with him and Abby is now just abandoned? Or is that... Because if it's not the subject of at least part of the next episode, it's over.
Well, I mean, so I didn't get the feeling Morales was dead.
Yeah, Morales? No?
No, I just got the feeling like...
laying on the floor, really super... contorted.
Yes, because there's nothing more to kill. I just got the feeling the demon just left him, went into the girl, and he's
okay. Well, if he's not dead, I would have appreciated for my. I mean, I'm gonna lose sleep over this, so I would appreciate it if they would show the hot guy. Wait, my head. Anything later? Someone mentioned he's okay. I mean, come on. Well, that's kind of tongue in cheek, though, I think. Other things I didn't like. Go to Anne. I'm blanking. I really liked this episode.
Some of the weaknesses of the episode.
I agree with you on the special effects. I think they were on and off with it in this episode. I think a lot of the glitchy movement of the demon I actually really liked because that's how I picture it. But the like you said, the revealing of the demon wasn't to par with the picture in the book, so I definitely expected a lot more. Also, going off of what Ashley said, they left us thinking or making the assumption like, how did George Washington do this? And I recall they did that with the last episode where they wanted us to assume that it was Abby that was the one that was possessed by the demon or whatever, and that Malik was talking about Abby, where in fact, it really was Jenny in this episode. And I hope they don't go along those lines every time they leave us with this cliffhanger, is that they're going to tell us what the opposite thing that they want us to think about, and it actually ends up being the other. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Like, I just hope they don't make it obvious every time, because I went into this episode knowing Jenny was the one that got possessed, not Abby, even though they tried to make us or convince us that it was Abby in the last episode.
You know, the other thing that kind of stood out to me that, bothered me just a little bit is the convenience at which things happen. Like, there are these lamps that we need. I just so happen to have been with a guerrilla warfare group. And I remember in one of their 27 storage bins in the back, on the very back shelf, up on the top, there was this antique lamp. And I remember it specifically.
But hey, they do that kind of in Grimm too. Like those kinds of fantasy tales where you kind of just have to suspend so much.
Well, you mean the Mary Poppins cursive trailer?
Yeah.
At least in Grimm, it's all in his one little trailer. Not
Mary Poppins purse.
No, I remember once 7 years ago when running with this ragtag group of militia guys in the outback woods.
It's a small town. There's 20 people that live in Sleepy Hollow.
Yes. On top of the truck with the guns, like, gotta borrow your lamp. I'll bring
that was
it back.
badass.
But then I could never say no to you. That was a little hokey, but I liked the badass.
Little bit hokey
moment. It was hot.
Of course, it was still her with just 2 guns and 8 guys with guns.
True.
And they were like, "Oh no, we're surrounded. What do we do?"
We're surrounded by one chick with probably one loaded gun.
Did anyone else catch the whole Ichabod having Abby's butt in his face for like 2 seconds as she was going to get the lamp?
No.
Oh, I thought they did
Go
it
back,
on purpose.
rewind.
I thought they did it on purpose. Too.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was supposed to be a little more playful than it turned out to be.
Right.
But that's just kind of the way I thought it was. But one of the things I didn't get though from the episode was, and it's nice seeing an increased role for the captain. I fear they may be setting up the captain and his family get back together. That seems a little too neat and tidy to me, but because they were starting to suggest maybe a little a romance between the captain and the sister, and now maybe they're moving away from that. Like, did you guys get a sense of that either way?
I don't know. I think that it's the intense circumstances bring families together. When it's over, maybe not. I feel like maybe a little. But I don't feel like for sure. Yes, I really don't have an opinion either way. Anne?
That's what I was gonna say. Is it bad that I don't care if Frank has if I don't care if Frank has a relationship or not? I mean, I actually don't even care if Ichabod and Abby ever have anything romantic, which I don't think they ever will. I hope they just continue with the playfulness. But I do think that I was missing the whole... So we find out Ichabod has a kid, and then in this episode, we don't have anything about it.
Hasn't that been rather conveniently just left and forgotten about?
I know they're waiting. I'm sure they're waiting for the 2-hour finale, which people are telling me it's 2 hours next week, but...
What?
2-hour season finale next week.
Yeah, apparently the season finale is next week. And
that sucks! And I look like
think
an
I just
idiot
broke
for not knowing.
Sorry.
I look dumb on the... I didn't know. Oh.
I'm sure they're all saving all of that for that last 5 minutes of next week's episode, but still.
I'm sad.
Okay, well, listen, I know there are a couple questions in the chat board, so let's just get to some of the stuff that's in the chat board right now. So, Anne, what do we have in there?
All right, so Tyler Palzer asks, do you think we will see more of the other 3 horsemen? Could they be former humans, like the horsemen of death?
It seems to make sense. I mean, once they revealed to us that Death, the headless horseman, was actually once Ichabod's buddy, then it kind of stands to reason that that's what Moloch did to get his 4 horsemen together. And I'm not going to be surprised at all that once we find out that the other 3 horsemen will probably in one way, shape, or form be connected to Ichabod. As a matter of fact, I mean, actually, you kind of said at the end there, like, wouldn't it be a kick in the ass if, like, Moloch himself ends up being George Washington?
Yeah. But how awesome.
Wait, if he can write the date after
But you see, I think
Moloch.
they were fighting Moloch already, but I wouldn't be surprised. It honestly wouldn't shock me at all if we find out at some point
Moloch is on the
like,
$1 bill.
but
Yeah!
that one of the other horsemen might be Washington. That one of the other horsemen might be one of the founding fathers. That I think at some point we're just going to reveal that the other 3 horsemen are one way, shape, or form connected to Ichabod. But that's one of the strengths of the show, right? They introduce an important element, like his son, like the Washington Bible, like the all individual 4 horsemen. But they don't feel the need to then have to play out that one element this episode and next episode. They are more than comfortable with bringing up these important elements and then letting them sit for 3, 4, 5 episodes and then coming back to visit them later. And that is a strength. That is foresight on their part. So the fact that they did bring in the 3 other horsemen, I don't believe they're done with them at all. I believe they're going to play a very important part in the story, and we're going to see that they have some keys along the way. What do you guys think? Are we going to see more of the horsemen, or...
I'm really afraid that I don't know if this makes any sense, because you've actually seen... I think we've seen the horsemen like in a flashback for somebody, but there's a little voice in the back of my head that's really concerned that the police captain, what was his name, who bit it in the first episode?
Oh, the Kurgan from...
Yeah.
The Kurgan from...
Corbin.
Everything. Yeah, because he did
Sheriff
have
Corbin.
his head knocked off.
Yeah.
I guess that's not a
prophesied by the demon. You
Yes.
will die by the hand of death.
And I guess that's not a requirement to be a horseman of the apocalypse, but I worry that they're going to throw some sort of like emotional wrench in for the girls where the horsemen are concerned, that they're going to make it just that much more difficult. You know, I hate to keep going back to Buffy, but when you've got so few strong female characters to choose from, you know, when they make it difficult for her and that the people that she ends up having to kill are always people she has an emotional connection to, I wonder if there's going to be some kind of angle for the girls that we don't see coming for the horsemen or anything related to that chunk of the storyline.
Kosal Seek says one of the horsemen could be his son, Ichabod's son.
Could be.
Didn't we? Yeah, it's
Because
true.
remember about Ichabod's son, they buried him and they stopped his heart. The witches, because he was going to be so powerful, they stopped his heart. They didn't say they killed him. He ain't dead. There is no way Ichabod's son is dead. No way, no how. They stopped his heart, and he's buried. Could be that Moloch at some point dug him up and made him a horseman. I don't think that Ichabod's son ends up being a horseman, but he is alive. I have no doubt he's alive, and he's going to play an important part. So whether he's already been dug up and he's a horseman, or he's already been dug up and he's something else, or if he's still buried in the ground somewhere and Ichabod having to go and find him becomes an important story arc later in the series. One or the other, the son's going to play a role in this. Like, or am I crazy? Like, what do you guys think?
No, I definitely think so. I mean, the son could actually be Moloch too. I mean, he could, because I still stand by maybe not the son being Moloch, but Moloch, or sorry, him end up becoming the vessel for Moloch at some point. He'll get unearthed. His heart was stopped. Maybe there was a reason for that. I think I mentioned it in the last one.
See that happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
That could totally be something. What else we got, Ann?
Sorry, Tyler Palzer was trying to come up with a combination name for Ichabod and Abby, and I was just about to type Ickaby, and he beat me to it.
Ickaby.
That's funny. Yeah,
Team
there's a question
Ickaby.
again from Kosal Seek, who asked, do you think Ichabod's wife will get out or stay in that purgatory place?
I think the unfortunate cliche Hollywood thing to do is to have her get out of purgatory and join him in the present and blah blah. But I just got a feeling that this show is going to be more ballsy than that. I think she did, and I think she stay dead. I really do. I don't think they're going to bring her back. I think at some point Ichabod's going to have to wrap his head around letting her go, and that she will be lost to him. Maybe she'll move on he'll release her from purgatory, but that means she's now gone. But I just don't see them pulling the standard Hollywood cliche thing of her coming back. But that doesn't mean I think that Ichabod, Ickaby, or whatever it is you're calling them. Ickaby. I don't think we're going to see
Ababod.
Ababod. I don't think we're going to see Ababod. I don't think we're going to see Ichabod and Abby become a thing. No. I think they have a great chemistry. They have a great relationship the way it is. I think they're going to keep it as that, but I don't think they're going to do that just in order to bring his wife back. I think they're going to be gutsier than that and keep it that. At least I hope they do. What do you guys think is going to happen?
I'm still, the more I've had time to think about it, I kind of formulated this on the last episode, and I've been in my car and I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. I think she's a puppet. I don't think she's really there either. I think that she's being used by Moloch to get the tools that he needs to get the job done.
Which would be an incredible twist.
Yeah.
It'd be great. I'd love to be right. I'm probably not right, but I would love it. If they do bring her back, I really hope in the standard Hollywood cheesy, let's bring her back. They don't do the bring her back for half an episode just to kill her at the end, right before like a wedding or something. Oh wait, they're already married. But because that happens all the time. Spartacus, Cold Mountain, all the. I've been trying to get you for hundreds of years, and now you're dead. I hope they don't do that, man.
I have enough faith in the show. I don't think they'll bring back the cheesy, like, here's your son, here's your wife, go live a happy family, life. I mean, maybe they'll meet in death. Maybe at the end Ichabod dies and they'll have to reunite the family when they're all dead.
He's not supposed
kind of
to
morbid
be here. It's a little morbid, yeah. They're kind of dark.
True.
But I also I've also wanted what is the wife's name? I forgot.
Katrina.
I also want Katrina to be evil. I said that the last time we had her.
Well, when Ashley brought up that theory a while ago, that what if Katrina's actually evil? What if that's a twist in this? And that's I think there's nothing that suggests that that's outside of the realm of possibility. I don't think that's what they're going to do, but it is within the realm of possibility. Anyway, we got time for take one or two more if there's more stuff in there.
Thoughts on Officer Andy? Who's Officer? Is that the one that died?
That was Morales.
Is that John Cho?
Oh, I think so. Somebody.
Yes, Andy Brooks.
Where'd he go?
He's like a lot of the other elements of Sleepy Hollow. He's an important thing that's there, but they don't feel the need that just because he's important that he has to be there every single episode. So they kind of, have the Wave bring him in when they need him and want him to play a role. And then the Wave brings him back out, and he'll come back in and out.
Yeah, he's in a drawer somewhere.
Yeah, ultimately, though, I mean, the last episode he was on was very intriguing because you see he has conflicting motives. I think he is in this arrangement that he has with Moloch, but he's not. He doesn't want to be. I think he wants to protect Abby. I think he cares about Abby. Doesn't want her to fall in the clutches, but he's obligated by whatever arrangement it is he's had to his Dark Master. So the character has actually become really fascinating. He used to just be cool. Now it's a fascinating character at the same time. and his tie to the horsemen and all that kind of crap. They'll bring him out as they need him, and I think when they need him is one of the things we're just going to have to wait and see. He's got to probably play a part in the finale, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part of this show might be the fact that I have no idea what's going to happen in the next 2 episodes. Like, normally you're following a storyline and you're like, I'm pretty sure this is going to get resolved and this and I have no freaking clue what's going to happen, and I'm excited. I love it. Is it next week yet?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That would be my question to you guys is what's the one like big cliffhanger or reveal that we'll have in next week's episode? What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Thoughts in the chat board too, if you guys have any good theories.
I gotta think it's gonna be something to do with the sun. I think they will, the cliffhanger, whatever it is, and it will be a significant cliffhanger. I don't think they're gonna defeat Moloch at the end of season 1. I think the big cliffhanger will have something to do with his son. I don't know what, but I think it's gonna be something to do with him.
And or Katrina. She wasn't in this last episode. Was she? She was referenced in the previous episode, but did we see her?
No, she was referenced in this one too.
Remember, right? And with the sort of oh woe is Ichabod, lonely moment at the end of, which I liked. I feel like they're kind of tugging at some resolution for that. We need to know. We need to touch base with Katrina, and I think it may not be so nice. That's what I think.
Well, okay, guys, that will do it for us. We're at a half-hour mark. Thank you so much for joining us. By the way, continue leaving your thoughts about where you think the season finale cliffhanger is going to leave us. Whether you're watching live or whether you're watching this pre-recorded, leave that in there, and we'll see how you do on next week's episode. So please make sure you come back and join us again next week after the season finale of Sleepy Hollow Season 1. I want to thank those joining me, of course. First of all, Ashley Oxford. Ashley, where can people find you online?
On Twitter, I guess my new handle is Ash_Oxford.
Of course, Miss Ann Campea. Ann, where can people find you?
You guys can find me by my name, at Ann Campea.
And you guys can find me on various social media channels, just at John Campea. For Ann, Ashley, myself, thank you so much for joining us, guys. Join the conversation in the comments. Keep leaving comments throughout the week because we're going to be reading them all the time, and we'll be responding and answering there. Can't wait to see you guys again next week. And until then, my name's John. See you later.